Ooh, boy. I had peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a cheese quesadilla for lunch. Not the best combo, but had to get rid of some stuff in the fridge. Make room for more groceries. I'm an adult. Hello. Welcome to Unlicensed Therapy with me, your host, Ari Mannis. Today we have a special guest, Mitch Burrow. Good friend of mine, fellow Comedy Store door guy, hilarious comedian. If you're not familiar with him, check him out.
I love guns. I know. Surprise. Being anti-gun control is tough when you live in a liberal city, because they'll always ask me, like, why are you against gun control? And I can't give an honest answer like, I don't know, because, like, I want to have a bunch of guns. Or, I'm an avid hunter, so I need different types of guns. Or, maybe I'm just concerned that we might be living in a country where slowly all of our rights are being taken away, and eventually this is going to become a tyrannical society where the people serve the government and not the government serves the people. No, you can't say things like that because those are the words of a crazy person. But what you can say is, because I'm getting ready for the zombie apocalypse, right? Yeah. You say that, people aren't only okay with it, they'll start giving you advice. They're like, oh yeah, guns, zombies, of course you need guns. Also, you should keep a gallon of water with you at all times, because zombies don't get tired and you're going to have to run a lot. You don't want to get dehydrated and cramp up, that's how they'll catch you. Also, you should find the nearest Costco, because it doesn't have any windows and it's got those big garage doors so the zombies can't get in, and then you're probably going to never need to find toilet paper again, so that sounds like a good place. Yeah, man, when you was talking about guns, I wasn't even thinking about zombies. I should get some guns, too. Yeah, that's a reasonable conversation to have. Another problem that I have, I have guns, and people will ask me, like, Mitch, why do you feel the need to have so many guns? And, finally, I'll just get frustrated and be like, you know what, man? Maybe I'm just worried somebody's going to try and break into my place, take my valuables, and I want to be able to protect myself. And then they're like, you live in a studio apartment in somebody's basement. Like, what could you have that's so valuable? Well, I got all these guns. I do like to hunt, which basically means that I act like a skanky deer for 2 months a year. I say skanky because I'm not into slut shaming, but nobody likes a skank, so I think it's safe. But basically what I do is I go out into the woods and I spray deer perfume on me, which is basically just the urine of a female deer. And then I put makeup on, which we refer to as camouflage because my daddy taught me how to do it. And then I blow on a whistle that sounds like a really horny deer. And I wait in a tree until a buck comes by, and then I shoot him in the head. You know what you're not allowed to do? Bait them with food. Because that would be cruel. I mean, look, if you're a murderer, if you killed an entire family of people, and we put you on death row, the last thing that we do before we kill you is give you a meal. What we don't do is strap you in the chair, shove a Hustler magazine in your face, say, how you feeling? Pretty turned on? All right, pull the switch. Boom.
That was Mitch Burrow. Pretty funny guy, right? Nice, likable. I don't know anyone that dislikes him personally. And if you do dislike him, don't watch the episode. Leave. I don't want your negativity here. Get out of here. Also, a quick reminder to like and subscribe if you haven't already, whether that be on iTunes or YouTube. Leave a review. Do all the things you can to help me because I need help. And this is a free podcast, so pay me by doing that for me. Thank you. Now enjoy the episode with Mitch Burrow.
Sure that you have a way harder time getting through life than the average person, Ari. I don't know why I single-handedly broke up my marriage. You're an awful person.
You're 24 years old. Why would I listen to you? Why would you be giving therapy and advice to people who clearly need it? It doesn't make any sense, Ari. This is a horrible idea.
You're listening to unlicensed therapy with Ari Mannis.
Oh, congratulations. Are you allowed to say that? You're allowed to talk about the pilot?
I mean, I don't really know that much about it.
What do you mean? You got casted for it? Didn't you audition for it?
I'm waiting for the contract right now.
You haven't signed the contract?
No, not yet.
Mitch,
What?
you've been in the business long enough. You don't start telling people about your stuff until it's all done. You shouldn't have even told me off camera. Now you're saying it on camera. And you haven't even signed the contract
Because
yet.
I believe in it. I'm manifesting it. I'm sure it's going to happen.
They might legitimately.
They sent me a message asking for my representation's email. And I'm sure that's so they can send them the contract so we can get it.
They didn't even tell you got it. They just asked you for your representation's email.
I got it.
Are you serious right now or joking?
I'm serious.
They did not even tell you got it yet.
Correct.
You told me you booked it.
Why
You're
would
saying
they-
on the
why would
podcast
they-
you
why
booked
would they-
a Fox pilot, and they haven't even told you that yet.
Why
Are
would
you?
they
You're
ask
joking
me,
with me.
Why would they ask me for my representation's email address if they weren't sending over the contract?
You're joking with me, right?
I'm not. Why would they do that?
What if they want you to do a callback? What if?
This isn't like that.
What do you mean it's not like that?
So my meeting was with the vice president. He's the one that told the executive producer to put me in as the host of the show. So they have come to me for this. There's no callback. They're filming on December 14th, and when we did it that day, I said, "When are you going to make the decision?" He's like, he kind of laughed. And he was like, "In a day or two." I don't think he was talking to anyone else other than me.
Doesn't that seem weird to you in itself that they're making a whole pilot and they're like, we'll go with Mitch. Let's not even consider anyone else.
So he was he's the vice president of, so it's Fox television stations, right? So it's the one where they're in 18 cities or 18 markets, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And so I've been on, I guess he originally saw me on Laughs.
Okay.
And then when I did Punchline 2 seasons as a guest, that first season,
What's Punchline?
Punchline was a show on Fox as well.
Okay.
But this one was
a stand-up show or?
No, it was a panel show.
Okay.
And so the vice president saw me and really liked me. And so then I got the email saying that he wanted me to do this interview. And then it was him and the executive producer. And so I think he was basically telling him,
I
hey,
get
we're
it now.
going to
So
do
this
show.
is like a local cable access type show, and they're like, yeah, give him a show.
I don't think it's that small.
He could be the bus driver.
No, it's not. First of all, it's not a bus driver.
What do you mean?
I mean, I guess I am driving the show. But it's not a local cable. It's Fox.
Okay.
But it's just in 18 cities instead of every
Right,
market.
local cable.
Why am I talking to you?
Well,
Why do you remember?
I'm just trying to get a clear idea of your new thing.
What is crazy is that I've only been a guest on your podcast once before, and
by the way, very few people have done this podcast twice.
That time I said I was quitting comedy and moving away from
That's
Hollywood.
right. So if you're listening to this podcast and want to hear the original conversation, which I barely remember, I remember that, but I don't remember it much. It was the main reason I'm having you back is now there's video. The first time you did the podcast,
we
it was
didn't have
audio
video on the
only.
last
Yeah,
one?
it was audio only.
Oh.
So if you go way back, I'm talking probably 80 episodes back at this point.
It was 2 years.
2 years. There you go. So it was a long time ago.
I started. I think I just started being a door guy at the comedy store.
You might not have even had started being a door guy yet. I'm not sure, but yeah, you were really down about your comedy career, and look at you now. You are the host of a local cable.
It is
Fox
not local
pilot.
cable. Stop saying that. It's not local cable.
You're host. You potentially. They haven't even told you you're hosting it.
No,
probably
but
not.
But if I showed you the emails, like you'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's."
Listen,
got
it
it.
sounds like there's a good chance you got it.
I don't think it's not that it's a good chance. I got it.
I don't think
I'm
you
just
know
now
that
waiting
yet.
for the contract so we can sign.
Don't you think they would have just sent over a contract?
No, I don't. I mean, I think they are sending over the content. They asked
I
for
don't
the
think you
they
got
asked
it.
for the information yesterday.
I don't think you got it.
Oh my god.
So what is this show?
You know what? If they come to me and they're like, Mitch, which comics would you like to have as a guest on this show? You are never going to be one that I recommend.
Even if you recommended me, would they want? Don't they want big comics on the show?
Well, I mean, I was on Punchline, so there is a budget, you know.
Right, it's a low
So,
budget.
like, when you're
it's
doing-
local cable, I forgot.
It's
yeah,
not
they'd want
local
me.
cable. Stop saying that. It's Fox.
Yeah, Fox has local. So does MSNBC. There's a lot of bigger networks that have local stations.
So
still.
what local cable is, Ari, is where you live in a city and you can pay to use the cable, right? Like you can pay to be on a local cable channel.
Yeah, and so Fox pays
No, this airs on the Fox network. That's what-
18 local Fox networks.
Well, it's 18.
You're syndicated.
It's 18 regions, but it's a much larger area than just that city. You know, like if you live in Atlanta, if you live outside of Atlanta, you're going to get that channel.
Right. Right. So you're in Atlanta, local cable.
I can pull up
you're
a
in
list
LA.
of it's not local cable. It's broadcast television.
Oh, even better. Over the antennas. The free people get it. The poor people get it. The people who don't pay for cable.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's the market you want. Those are they have
It'll
a lot
also
of,
be available on YouTube.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's the coolest one.
Yeah.
That's where the people go. So what's the show?
It's going to be I don't really want to talk about it too much. I think it'll be
Because you're worried about jinxing the show that
No.
you didn't get yet, or
no,
why?
just because I don't know enough to really say, but I would say it's like ridiculousness, but instead of a DJ and some hot rapper chick, it's like 3 or 4 comedians
Cool.
as
So
the guest.
you kind of play videos, and we all just pal around.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
which is
great.
how it was described to me. Yes. So we would. My understanding is we'll film the pilot on December 14th, and then if it gets picked up, which I assume it will, since the VP is the one who's wanting it done, we would start filming the season in January.
That's incredible news.
Yeah.
So let's talk money here.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to offer you for the pilot?
SAG minimum is $5,000 per episode.
And is this a SAG show?
Yeah, it's on network television. It will
But
be,
Laughs wasn't SAG.
Laughs wasn't, but Laughs was taking stand-up clips. Punchline was, so I got SAG minimum for Punchline.
You did. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So if it's a SAG show, you're going to get $5K for the pilot.
I'm thinking that's about right because that is what a major role is. Yes.
Pretty
And
incredible.
the-
And then if it got picked up, let's say even,
Mm-hmm.
let's say what minimum probably would be, 12 episodes?
I asked them how many episodes.
Okay, and what'd they say?
52.
Minimum's 52.
They said 52 episodes a year.
So that means if it got picked up even for one season,
It'd be about
You would-
$250,000 a year.
wait, you said 5,000.
Yeah. So 5 times 52.
Oh,
is
yeah.
255,000.
Wow, I'm bad at math, but wow, $250,000. That's life-changing for you.
It's huge.
You're
Especially
really poor.
Especially since I have, yeah, but especially since I have a daughter on the way.
You have a daughter on the way.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend is a waitress. You make minimum wage at
She's
your
al-
main
she's
job
also
that you're were let go from essentially too.
Yeah, until comedy ever comes back.
Yeah. So currently you make no money. Before, when you did make money, it was very little, and now you got $250,000 coming.
Possibly, yeah. If everything works out right, yes.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah, and you're sitting here saying, "I don't think you got it. I don't think you got it."
I'm a realist. Yeah, you probably didn't get it.
I got
You're
it.
telling me of all the comedians, they could have gotten me.
Yeah, why would they
Look
want
at
you?
me and look at you.
You're not likable. I'm
I mean-
likable.
Yeah, okay, good point. But still, I'm way more handsome.
Not way more.
A little bit more.
You're not as fat. That's
I
all
didn't
you
say
got
it.
going
Hey,
on.
I didn't say
if we go
You
face
said
to face, I'm winning. But your body is
Well,
in better
face to
shape.
face if you lost some weight.
Not much. It wouldn't take much.
You have a sleeve of tattoos too. That's not very family friendly.
Long sleeves, long sleeve shirts.
They'll probably make you
Cover
wear
my.
that,
That's
huh?
why I didn't get hand tattoos.
That's
They don't
great.
have to make me. I'm going to. I'm
How
appealing
about
to
this?
Middle America.
So here's what we should do.
Yeah.
Since we're best friends, Here's what we should do, since we're besties.
Yeah.
So once they get to 52 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
we'll try to weave me in as kind of like, hey, if Mitch were to have a heart attack
Yeah.
or something else,
Right.
but you'll probably die of a heart attack when you
Okay.
die, or Ari could take over.
Are you just trying to set up something and then kill me?
Well, I can't. How do you fake someone having a heart attack?
I think people have been doing it for years.
They have?
Yes, and also we have cameras here.
no,
showing that you were threatening to kill
If I
me.
just wanted money as to kill you, I would kill my
So
parents.
what do you want? You want to be like my sidekick? You want to be my Andy Richter?
Kind of like, we'll have me on a few times, and you'll just hint like, Ari's a good energy, huh? And just kind of, we'll pal around the set.
Right.
Just, we'll get it so that I'm kind of your replacement.
Yeah, we could do that. Or, what I'm thinking this whole thing's going to be about for me is to build up the audience, and then you just got to keep doing what you're doing. This is where it's at now with podcasts.
True.
You just got to build up an audience here, and then you don't have to rely on anybody else
Oh, definitely.
for anything.
That's the
so
that's
like
the dream.
I just want to like get audience members coming to me from that, and then be like, and check out my YouTube page or whatever.
Sure. That would be great. So what kind of bus do you think they'll have you drive? Will it be like a city bus?
I'm
or
not driving
school
a bus. I'm watching videos and making commentary.
Yeah, but your character as the host, are you going to be in like
It's not a
bus
character.
driver
It's-
outfit, a janitor
There's no
outfit?
character. It's just me. It's just Mitch Burrow. I'm not like a cable guy or anything like that.
Well, there's already a cable
yeah,
guy.
I know. And God bless him, but it ain't me.
Larry.
And I'm just Mitch Burrow.
Yeah, I know your name,
Yep, that's it.
but I'm saying, what's your job gonna
Marine
be?
Corps veteran,
Amen. Hoorah.
stand-up comedian, TV show host, Mitch Burrow.
In that order?
Well, now, yeah.
I
mean,
would say Mitch Burrow, stand-up comedian, Marine Corps veteran, TV show host.
Well, I was a
If
Marine Corps
picking-
veteran first. I'm just going through the list of things that I've done.
But what identifies you now?
Yeah, Marine
Because
Corps
clearly,
veteran.
yeah, but you're not.
Once a Marine, always a Marine, baby.
Yeah, but
Semper Fi.
I mean, if
Hoorah.
if we were going to war right now,
We're not. We have
They'd
been
send
in
me
war.
before.
We've been in war for like 18 years now.
if there was a draft right now,
I already served. I don't
they
have
wouldn't
to.
draft you.
No, and they wouldn't draft you either. You're too old. We talked about this on stereo.
Yeah, but I'm in such physical
You
shape.
can't go, dude. You're
Look
too
at-
old.
I'm not too old.
You waited too long. Yeah, you're 30. How old are you?
31.
You're 31 years old. The cutoff
So-
is 27.
That's for the Marines, but
That's
there's
for
still
all of 'em.
No, I looked it up.
What'd you find out?
So I did when we talked on stereo, which I deleted our conversation because they stopped paying. So I went back and I deleted all my stereo conversations.
What a racket. How many weeks did you get of doing it?
So I was on it from pretty much the beginning, but honestly, I was lazy and I
And
maybe
just-
made $300 on it.
Man, I
Like,
made $600.
So, yeah, you made more than me.
As soon as they called me,
Yeah, you were like,
I
going.
did it that week. I got $270. And then the next week I got 300, but
Right.
that's when they canceled it. And I
Right.
was like, what are we doing?
I mean,
300 was
I
the
knew
max you could
from
get.
the beginning. I was like, this isn't going to last. But I was hoping that they had big funding and maybe they're like, oh, we plan on doing this for 6 months. You know what I mean?
How about instead? I mean,
But
I
they
guess
went a few weeks.
I guess the $10,000 giveaway or whatever does entice more people into doing it. But why don't you just get a handful of real people like us that'll be entertaining
Well,
to
they
listen
did.
to and pay, and then you don't have to give away that 10 G's, and
They
you can
did
just
both.
keep paying us.
They did both for a while, but then I think they kind of realized none of these guys are promoting.
I was trying.
You were a little bit, but I think they had a data guy that was analyzing the dollar per
Man, those
user.
statisticians, they'll take you down
The
every
people
time.
listening don't know what we're talking about. So there's an app called Stereo that came out kind of the middle of COVID-19 a few months ago. And they were paying comedians $30 to $50 an hour.
It was basically you would get $50 up front, and then $50 for the first hour, $30 every hour after that, up
Yeah.
to 10 hours. So it came
10
out
hours a week just to talk on the phone.
You can make $300.
$300 a week to talk on the phone.
and people could listen, but they could also chime in while they were listening. So they could like whatever we're talking about right now, so they could just chime in and be like, oh yeah, hey, I was on the stereo app too, blah, 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 blah. And then we could play that and then react to it. I thought it was pretty good.
It was fun. It was kind of like this podcast live over the phone, and you guys could chime in live. It was a fun thing. That being said, they were paying right here, this is $600 a week of people. And I wasn't promoting it. Mitch did a little. But
I mean, I was putting it up on all of my social media. So
Right.
I would, because what they did was they started, if you followed each other, you could schedule talks.
Yeah.
And so what I was doing was I was scheduling a talk with you. You would accept it, and then I could put that link
Right.
in my social media
I
and be
understand.
like, hey, at 10
Yeah.
o'clock, talk to me and Ari.
So, but my point is, the whole time they were doing it, I was like, they're not going to get a return of $600 from me and Mitch for their business.
Right.
So the whole time we're doing it, I'm like, I know that this $300 a week charade is not going to go on forever. I knew it was coming to an end. That being said, it came to an end very fast.
It did show me, though, that talking for 10 hours a week was not unreasonable, and that I should really put more effort into doing my own podcast.
Absolutely, you should.
And what I want to do, and I hate to even bring him up, but I kind of want to more follow the Chris D'Elia.
Why don't you want to bring him up?
Because he was caught trying to have sex with young girls.
No. There was allegations.
Yeah, well, they didn't go away. Anyway, what he
I
did,
haven't heard about it.
what he did was like he would just do a podcast on his own. So it's just him in front of the wall with his laptop, and then he could like throw some stuff over.
Yeah.
But he's just talking for an hour once a week about stuff that was going on. And I like that because I've always had problems doing podcasts with other people.
Now, have you tried doing that?
Not yet, but I've got the setup now. I've got the little studio space set up where I'm at, and I kind of have the format that I want to go with.
See, I would love to be able to do that,
Right?
but I have trouble talking for 5 minutes on my own, doing little intros and outros to this podcast. It is tough to talk about yourself. Maybe not for you. For me, it's very tough for a few reasons. Number one, you got to be entertaining for
Yeah,
what,
and
30 minutes to an hour?
You're not really that
Straight off the
entertaining.
cuff?
Yeah, it's tough.
You got to
for
be entertaining. And then number two,
I mean, when you open for Theo, you probably only do like 15 minutes up front, right?
25.
Yeah, so that's not even a full 30
Yeah.
feature set.
And that's pre-planned stuff.
With an audience laughing.
That's with the audience laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Pre-planned. This is no audience laughing. You talk for 25 minutes off the cuff. You have to do new stuff every week. And then also, you have to. Then,
I bet you could slide in some shit from last week, and they wouldn't notice though.
someone would.
You know?
Someone would notice.
Yeah, but if
that
you
would be a terrible
But you
look.
just delete that comment.
No, you don't want to
You
do
just
that.
delete the
then,
comment.
if people are listening to you every week, they're gonna be like, I don't want to listen to him. He recycles podcast material.
I'm not saying that, but you could just be like, "Oh, you remember how last week we talked about
yeah.
this?
Yeah, you
well,
could do
this
that.
is how I feel about because you
Sure.
know I flip flop sometimes.
So you could do that. But then for me also, I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna finish my 30 minutes by myself and go, should I redo it?
How long were D'Elia's episodes?
They were like an hour long.
Can I look up one of his episodes on? Are they still on YouTube?
They're still on there, but he hasn't put out any new ones.
So if you look at his page,
If I were him, I'd keep putting out new ones.
I mean, I would
By
have never
not doing
stopped.
it, you're admitting guilt.
I will say it doesn't look like he has a channel anymore.
Really? They deleted all of it?
Theo Vine clips. I mean, right there.
Oh my god!
I don't
that's
see any.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't see Chris D'Elia.
He deleted
YouTube.
his pod. This is news.
I mean, I think he's just getting.
that's crazy too because that means he deleted his channel. Oh no, here it is. Okay.
Oh,
here
you
we
did
go.
find it?
Let me see. Yeah, he goes an hour and 5 minutes.
You found his channel.
Yeah, there's all his episodes.
It was so far down.
I guess the ones
Because
that
he-
come up are
Dude, you
people
know what's-
talk. It's because he
you know what's
hasn't done
funny?
it in a month.
Dude, how long do you think it's been since all that happened?
5 months, right?
5
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
This whole quarantine has been weird. Like, what month are we on now? We're 8 months into it.
I know. But yeah, it feels like almost a year.
And now we're going right back to square one.
Yeah, because of Biden. I'm serious.
It's not because
It
of
is
Biden.
because of Biden. If it was Trump, we wouldn't go back to square
the
one.
The numbers did not go up because of Biden.
No, not the numbers, but the fact that people are talking about going back in lockdown and wearing masks.
But we are back to a point where we have numbers higher than they ever were before.
Who cares? It's the cold.
It is not the cold.
Yes, it is. Oh, everyone's catching the cold. Big
You know what?
whoop.
I have family members in Georgia who are Republicans that work in the medical field.
And they'll say, it's the cold, big whoop.
So my one uncle, he told me, when it's a problem, when your hospitals run out of ventilators, and all of the hospitals are running out of ventilators.
Running out, but they have not run out.
But they are.
But they're not. They haven't
There
yet.
are hospitals that do not have enough ventilators. Yes,
like
that
2
is
hospitals, but overall, we got plenty of ventilators.
No, we don't.
have excess of ventilators. We were
We
giving
do
ventilators
not.
away to other countries. We were like a month ago.
You
we had
have
too
to
many.
stop watching AONN.
No, this is real.
Or is it OANN?
This is real.
What is that news channel?
I don't know. Fox?
I think it's no
Your channel, you mean?
Fox is off now, dude. The conservatives have turned against Fox because Fox conceded the election. So now it's
oh yeah, the alt right is against Fox,
it's either OANN, which it's either Only America News Network or America Only News Network. I can't.
These
remember.
are like on Internet News Network.
No, this is on cable television.
Oh, I've never even heard of it.
And then News Max with 3 X's.
So these are things no one. I've never heard.
No,
of
these
things.
are legitimate. And so, okay, so here's one reason why Fox is turning on Donald Trump. They are concerned. They think Trump is going to go. Basically, this OANN is going to turn into Trump News. They think They think he's gonna partner up with this and take all of his supporters over to that. And if you take all the major right wing people and all the left wing people are already over at CNN and MSNBC, Fox News loses. They're number one because there's 2 other networks that are splitting the left.
Right.
Fox had all of the right wing vote.
Right.
And so now, and then if Donald Trump goes over to one of these other like half-ass,
that could happen. That probably will happen.
It's done for him. Sean Hannity would go over there with him.
Yeah, I don't even know who Sean Hannity is, but I agree with you.
How can you be
sense.
a Trump supporter and not know who Sean Hannity is?
I'm not a Trump supporter. I just like him better than Sleepy Joe.
Sean Hannity is like a reporter on Fox News, but he's like
I've heard the name.
He's like Donald Trump's #1 supporter.
Got it.
With Rush Limbaugh, I guess.
Yeah, and every podcaster, every comedian podcaster.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, all these mainstream.
Is Jordan Peterson doing anything these days?
He's sick.
I know he's been sick for a while.
So no, he's not.
But he's also having like mental health issues as well.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
I heard about the health
all of his,
issues.
all of his, you got to be a man and be strong. Shit isn't really working out for him because he got addicted to opiates.
He's probably sad because of all his haters.
Well, you just
and
got
drugs make him feel
You know
good.
what? If you're gonna put yourself in the public eye, you have to be able to handle that.
You think that, but and then it comes your way.
I mean, I know I'm going to get
ready.
a lot of it once I get my show on Fox.
I've gotten a lot of it.
You know
before.
what's crazy is I always thought I'd end up on CBS.
Why?
Because I really like The Mentalist, and I wanted to share the network.
What is
with
The Mentalist?
The Mentalist was a very great crime show.
You thought because your favorite show was on a network that's where you'd end up?
Yeah.
What?
I just wanted to say that you can catch my show Thursdays after The Mentalist.
Is Mentalist still going?
No, it's been off the air. But so like there's still
now
a
you're
chance
gonna go after.
I could end up in syndication.
Now you're gonna be after that panel show with the one. What's the black guy that runs all the panel shows?
Are you talking about Comics Unleashed?
Yeah, now you're gonna be after Comics Unleashed.
That's not on Fox.
What is that on?
That's like a syndicated show.
On Fox?
No, I don't think it comes on there. I can look up Comics Unleashed on TV Guide.
Oh, in my mind, I thought you were gonna be after them.
You are just a real asshole.
What? What's wrong with that?
I mean, it's just like the way you're saying things.
It's
Comics Unleashed comes on CBS.
Man, they got your dream network.
Yeah. So it's 1:37 a.m. to 2:05 a.m. It's a real weird time.
And you'll be right after them on Fox. Local cable
I don't care
TV.
what time it comes on. I mean, I do hope it gets a good time. Punchline, the first season it came on, it competed with Saturday Night Live.
That's
And then the second season,
dumb.
some of them were on at that time, and then other stations played it like daytime. So they just picked and choose depending on where they were at, if they wanted it to run during the daytime or late at night.
This is the best timing. I was literally just telling someone that you were going to quit comedy. And not because of our podcast, because I was like, listen, I
have a kid on the way.
He has a kid on the way. He has a wife. Like, he's not going to want to grow up at a minimum.
Well, we're not married.
Well, you have a girlfriend. You're not going to want to raise a kid in L.A. on, like, a door guy's salary.
You're forgetting that she makes really good money.
Not really good, just better than you.
And also, that's not her only job. She's also a professional chef. She runs a pastry business as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like she just had a contract for 70 pies to go out to a restaurant here.
You're not forgetting, my girl just got a 70 pie contract.
Yeah, that's a lot.
How much do you make per pie? $10?
I don't know. I'm not on the number side. I just know what her order was. But that just compounds. She gets that one, then the next one, then the next one.
Right.
And then if we ever open up, like, being a door guy at the comedy store isn't bad. And then for me, like, I also go on the road and perform. I headline.
Sure, but my point is, we're not a rich man. You're a poor man.
Yeah, but
in an expensive city.
But I'm not gonna be a rich man anywhere.
Yeah, but now you will be you'll do just fine.
Yeah, but what you're saying with me quitting comedy though, like I was never gonna quit comedy because the money wasn't there.
Yeah, but that changes when you have a girlfriend and a child in LA.
Yeah, but I'm not supporting them on my own. She's helping. She's also involved.
I understand, but still.
I just don't see like what you think I would leave LA and do.
You guys were going to move to Georgia.
Well,
and start a family there.
But and what would I do there?
You could do comedy, but it would be like a hobby at that point.
I mean, that you think I'm going to make this money that's going to make up for whatever I'm doing here.
Yeah,
what
but
job would I do?
Money goes a lot further.
So but what job would I do?
Even if you were a waiter.
I've never done that.
Yeah, but you could.
I don't think
You're a jovial guy.
I don't think I have it.
If you were my waiter, I'd tip you 22% every time.
Dude, no, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
You've never tipped anyone
that guy's
much
awesome.
Money. No.
I always tip big.
Really?
No, not true. If they do a really bad job, I'll tip 15%. Which is what you're supposed to tip. If they do a bad job, I tip what you're supposed to tip. If they do a good job, I go 22.
I always feel bad. I can't tip less than 20%.
If they do if they are legit bad, I'll go 15. But if they're average or better, I go 20 to 22 every time.
Yeah, I can't bring myself to doing
that.
You
would if that girl was a bitch and brought out cold eggs.
But then you just go, hey, I'm sorry, but these eggs
see, that I'll never do. I will never send my food back.
You got to do that. So Lee and I, we went on a trip, and we stopped somewhere on the way there. And I think they were trying to bring our food out at the same time, and when they brought mine, it was cold. Now, we're both in the service industry, so I was like a little I'm like, God, I know she's having a bad time, but I don't want to eat these fucking cold-ass potatoes. So I was just very polite, like, hey, I'm sorry, but like my food's cold.
Sure, and there's nothing wrong with what you're doing.
She took it back and brought it back, and then she got a 20% tip.
I don't like to eat spit.
No one's spitting in your food because they fucked up.
But let me ask you this. Let me tell you this. If I got cold eggs, I wouldn't take that out on the waiter and tip the waiter less. I'm saying the waiter is a bad waiter or a bitch. I will tip them 15%.
But in your argument, you said cold eggs. If you said if she's a bitch and brings you cold eggs,
I think I used it as like a funny example. But it's like it's bad service is different than bad food. I'm not gonna tip. I'm not gonna fuck the waiter over because I didn't like the food.
I see. Yeah. No, I mean, you're a pussy.
Why?
You don't like confrontation. You'd rather just tip a little less than get the service that you deserve.
I don't want to be that guy. And can you...
a guy that's not a pussy?
I asked for no sour cream. Can you take it back and scrape it off?
Hey, excuse me. I ordered something specific, and you brought me something different. Could I get the thing that I asked for?
I put myself in their shoes. And if I was a waiter and someone was like, hey, can you heat up my potatoes?
Let's run this.
I would do it, of course. But in my mind, I'd be like, Jesus
let's run this.
Christ.
Let's run this.
This guy needs warm potatoes.
You're the waiter.
Fucking shit.
You're the waiter. Go ahead. Ask me what I want.
Hello, sir. What can I get for you? Wait.
What's wrong with you?
Let me retake.
Are you on drugs?
Redo. Hello, sir. What can I get for you today?
Yeah, let me get a hamburger. And on the hamburger, can you please make sure there's no onions?
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Hamburger, no onions.
Okay, now you bring me my hamburger, right? You sit down. Thank you. I'm going to put some ketchup on it. Open it up. Oh, shit, there's some onions. Excuse me.
That's different.
Excuse
You
me.
didn't get what you asked for. You have a.
This is what I'm
There was
saying.
a whistle. No, there was a whistle when you talked just now.
A whistle?
Do excuse me again?
Excuse me?
Yeah, every time you say the word excuse me, there's a little.
Excuse me.
There, that was good. The last 3 times you said it, I heard a little whistle.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
That's good. Yeah. Did you hear it or no?
I didn't hear it.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Is it? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were saying it right every time. I think there might be the right gap somewhere in your mouth that was causing a little whistle.
Okay.
Okay.
So excuse me.
Uh-huh.
I asked for no onions, and this has onions. Could
I'm so sorry about that. I put no onions, but the chef is a real fucking idiot. Let me fix that for you.
Okay, thank you. There you go.
That's fine.
What's the big deal?
Okay, but now we'll flip it around.
Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'll be the person.
Hi, welcome to this restaurant. How may I? It is more difficult.
On the side. Take 2, bitch.
Okay. See, when I get my show on Fox, I'll have a
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
I'll have a teleprompter. So
And
it'll
it's
be-
not live. You could take as many takes as you want. We have digital cameras these days. It's fine. You're fine.
Hello, my name's Mitch. Welcome to this restaurant. May I take your order, please?
Didn't need to know your name. Never going to see you again. But sure, yeah, you could take my order.
They make us tell you our names. It makes us seem more welcoming and friendly.
So
Personally,
you're saying you don't want me to know your name?
I could care less. Okay, I've had a
That
rough
seems
day.
like a rude thing to say.
All right,
to your
you want to
customer.
just give me your fucking order?
15%
See,
right there.
I don't think I can go to Georgia and be a waiter. Okay, I can do it right this time.
Yeah, so
Okay,
you
ready?
again.
Hi, welcome to this restaurant. May I take your order?
Sure, I would like scrambled eggs and toast. That's it. No bacon. I'm trying to watch my figure.
Okay, wonderful. I'll be right back with your order.
And 2 egg whites.
So do you want
Scrambled eggs, but only one of the yolks. The yolks.
I'm sorry, can you just give me that order one
Yeah,
more time?
sure.
I didn't write it
Scrambled
down.
eggs and toast, but go easy on the yolk.
And you said no bacon because you're watching your figure.
Yeah, and go
So
easy on the
scrambled
yolk.
eggs, toast. Go easy on the yolk?
Yeah, I want
So you
mostly
want-
whites.
Or a little bit of yolk.
Yeah, like 1 yolk, 2 whites.
Okay, no problem. I'll be right back with
Thank
your
you
order.
so much.
Okay, and then I go back, smoke a joint in the
And
back.
now I got it, and it's perfect.
Hold on. Here we go.
Okay.
You ready? Because I gotta get high. Because man, this one
You have a
customer is
kid. You're not
stressing-
going to be getting high.
This customer is stressing me
Your
out.
weed days are over.
Here's your order, sir.
Thank you. It's looked perfect. Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
It's cold. I'm just gonna eat it. I'm just gonna. Yep. I'm just gonna. It's cold, but
Now I'm gonna come back. Hey, I just wanted to check in. Is everything all right with your order?
everything's really good. Thank you so much.
Really, the temperature's fine.
Oh, why are you asking that?
I'm just curious. I just like to make sure that everything's good with your order. That's why I come back and ask you if
Yep,
everything's
the
okay
temperature
with
is
it.
fine.
The
Thanks.
temperature's fine.
It's good. Yeah.
Like
Thank
a
you so
20%
much.
kind of temperature. I just want you to know that if it's not what you want, I will take it back because I don't want a 15% tip. I want a 20% tip. So you
Seems
let
like-
me know.
Why you would never say this?
You let me
This
know
is so
if there's-
specific to
if
our
there's
situation.
anything
You
you
have
need.
insider information that my waiters don't have.
Well, now they have it. How many waiters do you think watch this podcast? Most of the ones in Los Angeles, I'm sure.
I think people who
Yeah.
listen to me are from all levels of.
Have you ever
incomes.
gone to a restaurant or a cafe or diner where one of your colleagues
Is a waiter?
is the server there?
I have the
and has
best
to work?
story about that.
Yeah?
The best story for this that you just brought up that made me think.
Okay.
Do you remember beginning of COVID-19? And I'll say his name.
Okay.
Because he's a fucking dipshit. And I have hatred in my heart towards him right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is juicy.
Not hatred, like I wouldn't confront him or start a fight, and I don't think about him, but like I will never do anything for this guy or be nice to this person again.
Okay.
Okay. So do you remember the beginning of COVID-19? I think once I say the story, you'll be like, I knew the story already. There was a guy who was tweeting
Oh, yeah. I know who
very
you're talking about.
negatively about
Yeah.
comedians and door guys.
Yeah.
Comedy store door guys.
Yeah, okay. I was wondering. I mean, he said like the Comedy Store is a den of rape and
Yeah.
and oppression. Like
Right.
I mean,
So
just
he's-
terrible.
So first he was talking shit about. So let me just.
I know the story
background.
that you're
Yeah.
gonna say too.
So let me just do this background. So first, when I see him in person,
Always so nice.
always been nice to me, I've been nice back, friendly. Always thought he was kind of like a closeted homosexual or metrosexual. So he had a ponytail and was really skinny.
I would like to say there's
And
a huge difference between a closeted homosexual and a metrosexual.
There is a difference, but sometimes it's hard to tell the difference if you
Sure.
don't know them.
Okay.
So I didn't want to make the assumption. I wasn't like, okay, he's for sure gay, but something isn't masculine about this guy. Like there's something slightly
He's effeminate.
aloof. He's very effeminate. He has like long hair. He wears a ponytail.
I think he's
skinny
I think he's
looking.
native, so like that could like probably be some of the like long hair thing. That's like a
Oh,
spiritual
I always
thing.
thought he was like Hispanic or something, but maybe he's native. Okay, so
Well, I
don't-
mean, I think a lot of Hispanic people have native.
I don't know his background,
genes.
and I don't care. It has nothing to do with why I don't like him.
Okay.
So in person, always nice. I always heard from various friends of mine that he's like a little bitch that starts drama, but it never happened to me. So I was like, he's fine, whatever. Who cares? He's nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would see his Twitter,
Oh yeah.
and this was before all this.
I wonder what
This
he's been
was-
saying lately.
Where I blocked him on everything.
You did.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the whole story. Well, you might not know the whole story. So then I would see his Twitter, and this is when we were cool. And he would always like call people out and be very political. And, you know, if someone was getting canceled or in trouble, he was the first to chime in. Right? Do you remember this?
Yes.
So he was always the first to chime in when
Can I just say
Yes.
either I'm blocked or I blocked him?
well,
Because
you'll know. You could tell.
Well, it says it's his name is now in black instead of highlight, or he doesn't have a Twitter anymore.
I'd be shocked. I bet you either blocked him or he blocked you, but you could tell in your settings if you go through. But let's do this later.
Yeah, go ahead.
I need your full attention.
I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. So he would always tweet of anyone who's getting in trouble in the world, not necessarily comedy. He would be on the ultra left, cancel this horrible person.
Right.
Always, men are the worst. Society is the worst. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I would see so much of that in my feed from him, like him going crazy. And by the way, he's preaching all this stuff to no one because
He has like 12 followers.
he has like 12 followers, and even of
At
his
the-
followers, I think no one wants to be part
At
of
the
that.
max, he would get like one
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no retweets or anything
Right.
like that. Yeah.
So it's all this stuff coming up in my Twitter feed.
the most action that he got was when he started talking shit about the store, and then door guy started replying to
Sorry, replying. So I would see all this even before all this, and I
Yeah.
had to mute. I muted him because remember I was still cool with him, but I just couldn't have all this negative energy
Right.
in my feed
Sure.
anymore. So I muted.
I get it.
So then he tweeted something like, this was after, right as this, I think it was right around the Chris D'Elia stuff, or maybe it might even be before.
It was after.
It was after, okay.
Yeah, because the D'Elia stuff kicked off everything.
So first he tweeted something like, Chelsea Skidmore isn't funny. She just fucked Chris D'Elia to get a job at the Comedy Store.
Something like that, yeah.
Something along those lines. I'm obviously paraphrasing his tweet, but he insinuated that Chelsea Skidmore isn't funny and she fucked Chris D'Elia to get a job.
Right.
Which, if you know Chelsea, Chris D'Elia had nothing to do with her getting hired. She got hired through the
intriguing.
general manager. So by him saying that, it's really just mean and nasty and not even
Right.
true. It'd be one thing if it was mean and nasty and true, but it
But
wasn't.
also, he's out here talking about like you shouldn't be slut shaming people,
Right.
And all this stuff.
He
and then
essentially-
he goes off and goes, the only reason this girl got a job is because she sucked somebody's dick.
Right. So she slut shamed a
Also,
girl.
if you know Chris D'Elia, the last thing that he would have wanted was for some chick that sucked his dick or that he fucked to be
hanging out at his
to be
favorite
around
place.
him there all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So he slut shamed her and inaccurately.
Also, she's married.
And and it's disrespectful to her and her new husband, who's also our friend Steve Randolph, because they are married and they're both in comedy. It was just a very mean and sensitive thing that also happened to be false.
Right.
So at this point, everyone's kind of watching this guy because he's saying crazy things.
Well, so did he make the door guy comment before the one about your parents?
So right after the Chelsea Skidmore, he made a comment, and it said, maybe of all the door guys, maybe 2 of them have made me laugh. Door guys don't get hired for being funny.
And then to
suck.
that, I replied to that comment, and he goes, out of all the door guys I've met,
Yeah.
maybe 2 are funny.
Right.
I said, out of all the friends I've met, they all suck.
That's good.
And then he sent me a message where he was like, you know, you talk shit, but you were one of the 2 guys that I was talking about being funny.
And I
was
was like, you still suck.
I was like, hey man, me being funny doesn't take away from you being an asshole right now.
Yeah.
Like going after her for no reason like that. I mean, it's just
Right.
it's a bad look.
So at this point in my head, I'm like, he thinks that the Comedy Store is out of business because he doesn't remember.
100%.
Because he doesn't remember that he would go there
All
every
the time.
potluck. He ran a show in the Belly Room. He wanted to be a part of that place as much
Which,
as
by
anyone.
the way,
was
he would
involved
act
in
like
roast
the
battle.
show that he ran in the Belly Room. What was it called?
I don't even remember.
Something like he acted like that show was this great show that sold out. But the way he got people in there, they were his friends that he was getting free beer for. Like he would bribe people with beer in the front row and stuff like that to come and stay and watch the show.
He was not liked even before all this, but
Right.
this took it to another level. So at this point,
I used to date someone who had a show at the Improv, and he had a show at the Improv, and he kept pestering her to get on her show. And so finally, he was like, hey, if you put me on your show, I'll put you on mine. And,
he tried doing a swap.
And she was like, okay. So she put him up, and then she reached out to him twice.
And he didn't put her up.
And he was like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to have to like talk to somebody about this because you're like really creeping me out with how much you're like pushing me on this. And she was like, dude, you said you would put me on your show
Yeah.
if I gave you a spot on mine. That's
That's all this is.
That's what this.
So he's an asshole.
Yeah,
and
a huge.
So
one.
when all this went down, I was like, this guy is not only an asshole, but he's so stupid because a year from now, things are going to be getting back to normal, and he's not going to be able to enter this place because everyone that works there hates his guts now.
He had his show in the Belly Room. He was there on Mondays for potluck,
Roast
Tuesdays
battle.
for roast battle.
So he's there at least 3 days a week.
At least, yeah.
And so,
And to hate it so much, to always be there.
right. And he tried to be a door guy. Like he was very much wanting to be in this
Yep.
place. And maybe that's why when COVID happened, he has this built up animosity towards it because even though he ran a show there,
A lot of people
knew,
lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, so he lost his mind. But at this point, I was like, well, this guy, fuck this guy. He just bashed me and all my friends
Yeah.
publicly to no one, but still.
Right.
So I told this story in a tweet, essentially of how there was one time where my family was visiting Los Angeles. So it was me, both my brothers, and my parents, and we went to.
By the way, this whole conversation started because I asked you if you had ever been waited on by any of your peers.
Yes. So this guy who's my peer, who's been doing comedy probably like 4 years longer than I have.
Oh, that's so sad.
So, but like, I'm only saying this now. I would never talk like this. I don't care where someone is in their comedy and what they've accomplished
Right.
and what they haven't accomplished. There's people get success at whatever. You get the point.
I've been
I'm not
doing
a
this
bad guy.
I've been doing it for 14 years and I still haven't got anything as of yet, but I'm like really
Right.
close.
Yeah, and I've been doing it for 9 and I haven't got shit. So I'm in this mall with my family and we are hungry.
Yeah.
So we go to this like grilled cheese place. It's like a sit down fancy grilled cheese place. They also sell salads and Brussels sprouts and sandwiches.
Oh, I bet the grilled cheese is like fucking $9.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like a
God.
sit down place. And we're like, oh, let's go there. So we sit down. I am gonna bleep out his name all the times because I don't even want to give him any sort of promotion.
Yeah.
So he comes,
Actually, I agree with that.
yeah, not because I'm scared, because like I
No.
don't even want to.
No one should look up
He'll
his-
probably enjoy. Yeah, I don't want anyone looking
Yeah.
him up. He'll probably enjoy the
Actually, what would
negative
be great
press.
is when he sees us talking about him and all he hears is this guy with a long ponytail and his name is B.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy
exactly.
that ran, you should bleep out the name of his show as well.
I will.
The
I'll
Beep
bleep
Show-
out
the
all
Beep Show.
The bleep show. So he comes up and he's our waiter. And instantly, because he's not a good friend of mine, I didn't know he worked there. I wouldn't even call him a friend. He's not even a good acquaintance of mine. I weirdly felt kind of bad
Yeah.
because he's been doing comedy longer than me, and I don't have a waiter job, and he's waiting on me and my family. But I was like, okay, we're here, right? So whatever. And he was really nice, and he was a great waiter. And we all ordered our grilled cheese sandwiches, and he brought them up to us, and I think he gave my dad like a little discount because my dad paid for the meal for the family.
Right.
And it was great. We tipped him nice. Probably, I'm guessing 20, 30%. I can't remember, but we tipped well. And my mom, was asking, oh, you're a comedian? You know Ari? Blah, blah, just chit chat. This was over the weekend.
Right.
Monday comes around. I'm hosting potluck.
Mm-hmm.
And he's waiting in the room, sitting there. If you don't know what potluck is,
Friends and family.
Yeah.
Is like the open mic portion is 1 through 16 is randomly picked.
Yeah, so potluck is a show at the Comedy Store every Monday, and the first hour is open mic. Then it's friends and family, where it's like me and all the door guys, and I get maybe to pick 3 or 4 spots of people to put on, and then after that is paid regulars, bigger comedians who are coming in to try out stuff. So I'm hosting the show,
and he's just sitting there,
and he's sitting
hungry.
there. One of the moves, if you know the host, is to sit in the room and kind of hope that the host will feel bad and put you up, or not even feel bad, but just have the time and
know that you're funny.
Know that you're funny and put you up. And I genuinely, in my head, I'm hosting, and in my head, I'm thinking, man, I should get this guy up. He just served me and my family grilled cheese sandwiches yesterday or the day before.
I had a girl offer me a blowjob if I would put her up on potluck, and I was like, I respect this stage too much for that. And you were willing to do it for a grilled cheese sandwich?
Remember, he didn't give me grilled cheese. It was just I felt bad for him because the 2 days ago he had waited on me and my family.
I should have got that blowjob. I realized
absolutely
I
would have taken the blowjob. I would
up.
take a blowjob from a cute girl for that. But no one's ever offered me a blowjob. People have offered like trading spots on shows, and even I don't do that shit.
No, but you would do sexual favors?
Sex to me is harder to come by than getting a spot on a show.
You just gotta lower your standards, I guess.
But to be clear, I've never offered or been offered or have taken sexual favors for a spot on it. Anyway, I'm hosting.
You feel like you have to say that these days?
Yeah, kind of. Because Joey Diaz got in trouble for saying that.
That he did it 20 years ago.
Yeah, for that 20 years ago, he would take a blowjob for a show or
you
something
know what?
like that.
When I was starting out, please, can we come back to this?
Yes, we'll come back.
So finish telling the story about.
So I'm feeling bad for this guy because he had served me and my family sandwiches. I'm like, I should get him up. He's a waiter. Like, he just served me and my parents and my brothers. I should get him up. But long story short, I didn't get him up.
Right.
Not because I didn't want to, but because it's hard, and I had friends that I wanted to get up over him.
Some girl had just sucked your dick, and you were like, I gotta get her up.
So the day goes by, and I feel a little guilty. I didn't message him or anything. It wasn't real guilt, but I was like, damn, I didn't get up. Oh, well, maybe next time. In my head, I justify it as I've done development spots on his show, but he's never reached out for me to do his show, so whatever, fuck it. Then I see that tweet, and I told that story, and I said, and I felt bad that I didn't get him up, but turns out I made the right decision. And it was like just a...
And then he replied with a...
He replied,
I thought your family was very nice.
Yeah, he said you and your family were really funny and nice or something like that. And I didn't think anything of it. But then I ended up having to block him because his tweet about how door guys suck got like 2 likes from people two people I don't know who they are.
Right.
My tweet about him serving me and my family grilled cheeses and me saying he sucked at the end, not in those words, but paraphrasing myself, got like 50 or 60 likes.
Oh, wow.
It did very well.
You brought too much attention to him.
Yeah, so my tweet didn't blow up, but it blew up for my tweet.
I'm almost certain that I don't have him blocked.
So maybe he blocked you. So my tweet does very well. All these people, by the way, and he had so many enemies that literally all his enemies were screenshotting the tweet and texting me that day like, you're fucking awesome for doing this, blah, blah, blah. Like, people were loving it.
Yeah.
He then messages me and goes, hey, I'm hearing from all these girls that you're a creep and you're going to get canceled next. So you might as well come clean now because they're coming after you next.
He thought he was going to trick you into.
And then he goes, good luck, loser. So I block him on Twitter, right? Then he goes to my Instagram. Same thing. He's just DMing me. You're a creep. All these people are saying you're a creep. Oh, my God.
Who's a creep? Who is a creep?
Oh, my God. He has a picture of himself with his long hair, naked
with voters ballot
Covering
over
his
his penis. Yeah.
Anyway, blocked him on everything. That was the story of the guy, my peer, waiting on me.
His last post was November 4th. What? I think he might have deleted his. Maybe not, but
he should. He should. He had like a mental breakdown on Twitter.
I wanted to say this about that, like sexual favors for stage time or whatever. I think I came up in Seattle at a very woke time, and I think
Seattle's always been woke.
Yeah, but I think especially with stuff like that, like people always made real sure to talk about how sleazy and creepy guys were that did that. So it never even like came into my mind to try and like be like, hey, if you want to get on this show, like, because I didn't want anybody to. Also it is like it's just a bad thing to do.
Same thing in LA. People always talked about the producers that tried to get laid from running a show.
And so then when I got to LA and I was a door guy at the comic, and someone was offering me sexual favors I was like, are you out of your mind? No.
Not doing that.
No way.
I think
for a few reasons. Number one, I don't want people to look at me and be like, wow, how pathetic that he's willing to give stage time to somebody for something like that. But also, like, I told her, I was like, I respect comedy too much for that. Like,
good for you.
If you want to do that, then you can do it, but I'm not giving you stage time. And then if you're funny one day, I'll put you up there.
I'll be more likely to give you stage time because you did that.
But the two, no. The two are not connected at all.
Right.
Like, that is the thing.
But at least I'll know you. At least, like, hey, you'll be on my radar.
No.
Yeah, like, I'll be more aware of when you get good. Like, I'll put you up either way if you're good, but I'll be more likely.
I knew this person perfectly fine. That was... All I was saying was that was something they wanted to do. That was just a decision that they were making. It was not going to get them any favors. But I would never put someone up on stage.
I'd like to imagine.
To trade that.
I don't know anyone personally who has like said to a girl, "Hey, if you give me a blowjob or fuck me, I'll give you a stage time."
Yeah.
I don't know that person exists. I think in my mind that if a producer of a show wanted to hook up with that comic, they would just book them and hope, oh, that would be a good chance for me to talk to her and maybe we could work something out.
Yeah, I imagine
maybe we could
that,
hook up.
That's how I would imagine that.
I would imagine that's how someone
happen.
would try to use that power in their for whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
Hey, after the show, you want to go get a drink? Where was the show
It was
at?
Hooters on Hollywood Boulevard.
What a great room.
This was before Stephen Holloman ran.
Right, but
this was back in the day.
But
it
was
was not
still
great.
Upstairs up there?
It was the same spot, but it was bad.
It was bad when he had it for a while.
No, it
but
was
for
way worse.
some reason,
It was way worse.
Bill Burr dropped in there one
Yes.
time. Like, it had the makings of becoming a great room.
Yeah, it could have.
They built a good stage for it.
I built that
you
stage.
Got to see
No, I didn't build it,
you
but
got to see
I-
some breast when you walked in. Not bare, but they were covered with the Hooters uniform.
So my
there.
story, you started in Seattle. My
For the most
starting
part.
into comedy was I moved to LA. I was interning at Laugh Stop and doing really shitty open mics in LA.
Yeah.
And I was like desperately looking to get on shows, so I could get better.
Yep.
But as a new comic in LA, it's next to impossible.
Yeah, you can't. It's lottery mics. And
I
stuff.
did. I was able to get on 4 shows a week, and here's how. I responded to this random Craigslist ad. I would look up comedy on Craigslist, and I responded to this guy that says, hey, I need someone to hand out tickets to the comedy show, and in trade, you'll get a spot, like barking, essentially.
Yes.
But I didn't know what barking was at the time, but I was like, I'll do that.
I don't think most people do unless they live in New York.
Right, that's a New York thing, but it was happening on Hollywood
You want
Boulevard.
to explain to the audience what barking
is? For example, it happens very much on Times Square. You'll be walking Times Square, and someone will be like, hey, do you want tickets to a comedy show? Come to this comedy show tonight. You could buy tickets. And they kind of suck tourists into going and watching comedy. In LA, that's not really a thing, but there's small instances of it, like when Hollywood Boulevard or John Lovett's Comedy Club at Universal City Walk had some of it. So I responded to the ad, and I said, I just moved here from San Diego. I'm a new comedian, and I would love to do it. And the guy responded back. He goes, I'm from San Diego. Come on by. So I ended up doing that for I want to say 2 years straight.
Wow.
Like 4 nights a week. And on Friday and Saturday nights, it was 2 shows a night.
Was it worth it?
So worth it, dude, because that Hooters room was bad, but there were times when it was good, and it was still better than any open mic because there were real. We would usually get 10 to 15 real people up there. So, well, I was brand new to comedy and starting in a city which I also have now found out is a bad city to start comedy in.
Terrible city.
But for me,
the time is so limited that even if you're getting like multiple spots, it's still only 3 minutes.
Right. So I was getting up 4 nights a week doing 10-minute spots on each show. Fridays and Saturdays, 2 shows each. So I was getting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1 show, 3 shows, 5, 6 shows a week.
That's
I was
great.
doing as a brand new comedian.
I mean, I don't even do that many now.
I don't every time. I don't all the time either.
When we're not in lockdown due to
It was a lot.
COVID-19, I don't do 6 shows a week.
I was doing a lot of shows, and I was feeling sharp, and I saw myself getting better. And when you're doing 6 shows a week too, you get bored of material faster. And so it was really good. It was really cool. That was my start.
I actually started in LA. I lived an hour and a half north of here, and I would come down and do the Sportsman's Lodge open mic, which was terrible. And then 6 months into it, I moved to Seattle, Washington. But the thing with comedy there was there were like bar shows where people who 2 years in were getting like 10-minute spots.
Totally, yeah.
3 years in, I was featuring for every club. And then at some point, I started headlining these casino shows around where you had to do an hour.
Like triple run type stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I was so far ahead as far as like time-wise, like having material, than what you would ever get in
because
LA.
Here's how you get here's how, at least for me, in your head, you go, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write every day, I'm going to have so much material, it doesn't even matter. And you meet these comedians who are like 3 weeks in, they're like, I have an hour of material written. And you're like, no, you don't, you delusional loser. But how you actually get material is forced to doing it. Like, I had 5 minutes, then someone's like, you have to do 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, well, I better come up with 10 minutes then. And then once you do that a few times, you're like, okay, I could do 10 minutes. I got 10 minutes. Then someone's like, hey, I need you to
got 7 minutes. You stretch it out with a little bit of crowd
but
work.
for real, that's how at least for me, how I get. So the first time I featured, I maybe had 10 or 15 minutes, and the guy's like, you have to do 20 or 25. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to do it. So that's how I get there.
Yeah.
So I imagine like how I'll get to an hour is by having to do hours.
Yep. I mean, I will say this. I don't think people give enough credit to actually sitting down and writing. I know it's not the most popular method. I think people like to have an idea and then go up on stage. But, man, I have just really developed a lot of stuff through just sitting down every morning and writing in a notebook.
What I mean is you could write every morning, but that doesn't mean you have an hour. Until you go up and do that hour and make that hour work. Like, you might have an hour of jokes, but then weaving together and doing an hour at once is
all
a whole
I'm
nother
saying
beast.
is that refining stuff and making it better, like, there really is a lot to see. And when I sit down and write in the morning, I'm not sitting down necessarily thinking about anything. I just sit down and I start writing. Hey, good morning. I'm writing in you right now. And I talk to my notebook or whatever. But then, like, sometimes I'll, like, my brain just starts going into a certain direction. But then also that just immediately kicks off a creative spark to where the rest of the day, my mind's working in a different pattern.
Right. You're thinking of, okay, what can I write about that? Can I write about this? Totally.
And I think too many people, like, I think Bill Burr was a negative influence on a lot of people by saying that he does it right. And I think a lot of people idolize him. But what they don't realize is he may not be writing, but he is talking into a microphone every week for an hour.
He's writing in his head.
Yeah,
for sure.
But he's also like working out these premises on his podcast.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have that benefit or that option, you know?
Sure.
So like it is important. And maybe he's dyslexic. Who knows why the fuck he don't write? But if you actually sit down and write, your comedy will be better.
Of course. But all I'm saying is, if you sit down and write every day, but you're only doing 5-10 minute spots, you don't have an hour just because you've written an hour in your notepad.
And you'll be like, okay, on this set I did 5. On this set I did 5. I have 10 minutes. But if you put those two sets together,
they might not go well together.
It's like 7.
Yeah.
There's an overlap of you like, hey, how's everybody doing? Like, you know, just your little segues into each thing, they kind of take away. So when you actually start putting stuff together, it's not 3 different 5-minute sets equaling 15 minutes, and now it's a little bit closer to 10 or 11.
Yeah.
You lose out.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. All right, should we call it?
I mean,
No, I'm kidding.
we
What's your issues?
you didn't do any
What's
any
your
therapy.
issues?
Dude, I'm actually great.
No, you're not.
I am. I really started working on some great stuff.
Well, you got your Fox pilot potentially. You got a baby girl coming along the way, and I apologize for the things I said about her initially. I didn't know.
So, you know, I started when coronavirus hit. I started going out. I started hiking a lot. I started camping.
Do you think you could handle the hike I took you on now?
Yeah, I mean, it would still be difficult. I'm not in great shape, but I do go on a lot more hikes now.
That's
so,
good.
but it definitely like got me out and being in nature. I'll even say this: there have been times where like Lee and I have gone on camping trips, and then when we come back, it takes me like a day or two to feel good again because like
You're so tired from hiking?
no, I'm saying like being back in the city is upsetting.
You know there's a lot of good hiking in this city that people
And I do
don't
it,
realize.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually go. My favorite is in Malibu.
Yeah, that's my favorite too.
There's like a Los Lions Trail is a really good one, and then there's one that my buddy always likes to go. The problem with the ones in LA are half of it is on a road. It's like a residential street.
Oh, I could take you to ones that aren't. There's a lot. There's a lot that aren't. So Pasadena has a lot of good hiking.
Yeah.
That's pretty difficult. The one I took you on, obviously, there's some in Malibu. There's the Griffith Observatory hike. They're pretty
I don't know
good
if we
hikes.
talked about this before, but you know, the whole thing with me like saying I was going to quit comedy was that at that point in time, I was unsatisfied. I was unhappy. And the lesson that I learned when I was in Seattle at Boeing and I was depressed to the point where I was worried that I was going to commit suicide.
I didn't know you were. Did you talk about that last time?
I'm not sure if we actually talked about that or not.
You were so sad you were contemplating suicide?
I would like cry myself to sleep at night because I was afraid I was going to kill myself, not because I wanted to kill myself.
But if you were afraid you were going to kill yourself, then that means you were not going to kill yourself.
I think that I thought that I might be getting to the point where I was going to do that because I was so fucked up. But you know, I went to a therapist. I got prescribed certain medications, and like nothing was working. And even when I was like seeing a psychiatrist for the meds, and I was like, hey, like once I like kind of even out here, is everything okay? I'm like getting into some serious shit.
I think I did it because I was uncomfortable. Keep going. Sorry, I like this. It was so serious that I got a little
All right,
uncomfortable.
let me tell you this very tragic shit that was going on in my life. Let me check the levels real quick.
I think that was like
What the
I think that
hell?
was a subconscious like thing saying like get out of this situation.
What were you even looking at?
I was making sure I hit record on the audio. I think this was so good that I was like, what if I'm not recording this? And that thought popped in my head. Like, what if
Oh God. I don't even want to finish
you
telling
have
the story
to, you have
now.
to. It's so good.
So I basically just asked the psychiatrist, like, hey, once I like level out, will I ever be able to like wean myself off of the medication? And he was like, not as long as you live in Seattle, because seasonal affective disorder is like a real thing.
Yeah.
And so I just started looking at my job there, my life. I was not happy in Seattle, and I just made the decision that I was going to leave and pursue comedy and entertainment full time.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I left, like I was great. 4 years, no problems. And then that last year when I was talking to you, I just wasn't getting fulfillment. I think I had gone through like a lot of projects that had gone up to like the same people who produced Impractical Jokers had like a show with me that they were pitching to Lifetime and all these other places, and there was just a lot of
Potential things that didn't pan out.
right.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I don't think I can continue doing this. And then I think I got the door guy job. I think we did talk about that.
So you
that
needed
prior.
a win. You needed a win, and the door guy job was that win for you.
It was because like being a door guy at the store, you're now on shows with the people that you are trying to get to the level of.
Yeah.
And so even though Joe Rogan doesn't know who I am, I'm still on a lineup with him.
Yeah.
You know, like you're now in the presence of the success that you're striving for.
Right.
And that just kind of like reignited my fire.
Right. That's great.
And I think like that what basically what I'm saying is I every time that I hit a point in my life now to where I start to like pull back a little bit, and I'm like, ooh, I might be going back to like I just evaluate my life, what I have going on, and I look at where I need to make adjustments to bring happiness back into my life.
So, and you didn't have this skill of doing that 4 years ago. Now you have the skill
6 years ago.
No, but even during the podcast, you didn't really have.
No, because I was looking at making a change. At that point,
the change was quitting comedy at that point. So
the change was, I mean, I was looking at getting back, moving to Texas and working in aviation, because there was just a lot going on with living in LA that was just starting to become a little overwhelming, I think.
I think that's great. I mean, I think it's great that the door guy job gave you the confidence or the happiness or whatever, that fulfillment.
I just needed a little more.
For me, this sounds like ungrateful, because I really thought I wanted to be a door guy.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got the job, like literally week and a half in, I was like, fuck this.
Well, you tried to talk me out of it. You
and
said
I think it's why,
like,
because in my head I was like, dude, like it's not what you think it is. But then I talked to people. I think there's people like that, and then there's people like this.
What did you think it was gonna be?
I don't know, man. I think so. Okay, so when I think of people who really appreciate that job and what it does for them, it's like you, Hormos loves it, Frank Castillo, Abby, like a lot of people. Obviously, Feng Chao, Jeffrey Berner. Like I'd say most of the door guys, they're like, I'm a door guy. The Comedy Store is the shit. I love being a part of it. I love watching my peers, and these comics are all around me, and blah, blah, blah. It's this family. But as soon as I start working there in my head, I'm like, I'm watching all these people do what I want to be doing. I can't get up while I'm working. I mean, you can, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting up while you're working. And I just felt like I took a step backwards in a way. And I was like, this isn't doing comedy. This is working at a comedy club. And I just found myself getting bitter and tired and just feeling
so
like
you would have preferred just barking for the Hooters.
Well,
and doing
the funny thing is,
spots.
So the Hooters barking ended right before I became a door guy. That's why I became a door guy. Is I'd done it for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I was kind of sick of doing it. Not in the same way I didn't like working a door guy, but I was just tired of it. I was like, I'm ready for. So when it ended, because Guam Felix used to do it with me, and he won Let's Make a Deal, and he got like 50,000. He won like the most thing. It's funny because he would always say, he would walk in. If you don't know who Guam Felix is, he's a comedian. He is like an overweight person. He calls, his name really isn't Guam Felix. He's from the territory of Guam, and people call him Guam. He goes by Guam because he's from Guam.
Oh, that's not his real name?
His name's not Guam. He used to live in Guam.
He's also 50 years old.
He's 50 years
and
old.
He looks
has
like
kids.
he's 30.
He's older.
I mean, to be fair.
He's been doing comedy. He started in San Diego. He's been doing comedy for like 15 or 20 years.
Wow.
Anyway, so I used to do those shows with him, and he would always come in and he'd talk about how he was going to win the lottery. That's something, if you don't, he would always say, like, when I win the lottery, I'm going to buy a comedy club and you guys are all going to do spots. I'm going to buy a house and you guys can all live in it for free. Like, he'd always talk about this grandiose dream of him winning the lottery, but he didn't buy lottery tickets. He just barked with us at Hooters and was on disability. So he comes back.
Wait, did he buy a comedy club?
Well, he won. He didn't win. He won 50 grand, which was still. We were all like amazed by this, right?
Yeah.
Guam comes back, and it's like me, Jake Marin, Terrell Wright, Jimmy Oyang.
How does this dude not have a car?
I think he won a car on
he
it.
He doesn't have a car.
No, I don't even think he has a license.
You have to give him a ride home.
I don't think he has a driver's license.
He would like. I would be in the office drinking with one of the managers, like after the club was closed. And then Guam would come in and be like, "Hey, Mitch, come on, man. He's got to take me home." And I would just be like, "Dude, we're having fun. Quit. If you don't want to have fun, go wait out for a fucking cab."
So we were working. Me and Guam were doing these Hooter shows, and he would always tell these waitresses, these beautiful waitresses, and again, Guam's a 50-year-old overweight, bald Guamanian man. He would always say to these young waitresses, he'd go, girl, when I win the lottery, I'm going to take you to Hawaii and we're going to do all these things. They'd laugh and go, haha, okay, Guam, right? It's kind of like trying to compare him to someone like maybe like Don Barris.
Sure.
If Don Barris is like how he hits on girls in the audience.
But not as vulgar?
But not as vulgar. But you know how like
Right.
Don Barris will like, if a girl's in the audience, he'll be like, girl, I'm going to do all these things. And it's a he's doing it as a joke for the
Right.
most part. Like he probably would do it if they were like, okay. But he's doing a joke. So he would say, Guam would say to these waitresses, I'm going to take you to Hawaii. He wins, let's make a deal. And he says to this waitress, he goes, hey, I won all this money. Let's go to Hawaii. Like, not as a joke.
For real.
For real,
yeah,
for
let's
real.
do it.
And she was like, listen, I thought you were joking all this time. I have a boyfriend.
I never assumed you
I
would
have-
win
I-
$50,000.
I have a boyfriend. I can't go to Hawaii with you, right? And then I think he like said something mean to her, like took it the wrong way, and basically that was like the final straw for our show because the waitresses always hated our show
Oh,
anyway
God.
because they were never the center of
So
attention.
because
we
he
were,
won money, he was like, fuck you, bitch, or whatever.
Yeah, I think he was like, fuck you, bitch, something like that. And our show was, the manager was like, you guys are done. You guys are done here. And
Who actually ran the show?
there was this guy named Sean Kelly.
So nobody.
What do you mean?
Like nobody that would is still involved in comedy.
No, like we all ran the show kind of at the end. We were all running the show, but they basically said you guys cannot run the show anymore.
But I'm saying like you were brought in by someone to bark.
I was brought in by this guy named Sean Kelly.
And what is he doing these days?
These days he lives in San Diego with his wife, but at the time he was a comedian. He would
Yeah.
come in and do spots and do comedy. He started the Comedy Palace in San Diego back in the day.
Oh, okay, at the Greek restaurant.
At the Greek restaurant. He moved up to L.A. He sold a reality show that he hosted, and he ran this little room at the Hooters. He was the host of, it was like
Come
one
on,
of
you
those
gotta-
auction. It's an auction where they auction off shipping container or shipping things.
You talking about
Storage
Wars?
But it wasn't. It was True TV's storage. It was like Storage Hunters, I think it was called.
Jesus.
So it was like the shittier Storage Wars.
Yeah.
He would always
How
say,
do you get away with that? Hey, you know these Pawn Star guys? They got a cool thing. I got an idea for a show. It's a convenience store where people can haggle the prices or whatever.
So
Like,
he
it's almost the same
he was
thing.
the creator and host of Storage Hunters, and even
That, by the way, is a crossover of Storage Wars and Ghost Hunters. They're looking for haunted storage containers.
it was just Storage Wars on True TV.
Okay.
But this was at the height of Storage Wars, so it was actually a very popular show.
Yeah.
I think in Europe it was like the #2 show,
I
and he
love-
was like legitimately a theater act in Europe from the show Storage Hunters.
So I used to do voiceover work for a YouTube channel called Action Figure Therapy, and the space that he used to rent it out belonged to one of the guys on Storage Wars, Dennis. I
that
think.
started as a production space.
Yeah, no. So it was his shop
Oh, okay.
that he keeps all of his stuff that he gets from the storage containers. And it was just my buddy had one. He's had it set up as a voiceover studio, and then his like garage shop thing was in the same industrial complex. And so I'd come out and I'd see him after I'd get through doing that.
Wow.
And he was the one that didn't. He kind of like looked like me, like he didn't have sleeves.
Uh-huh.
And he had a son that he would take. I think his name was Dennis. I can't remember. I remember Dave.
He was on the show.
Yeah. So Dave was the one who was always like, "Yep." And then there was the married couple.
I'd never seen the show.
There was the married couple, and then there was the weirdo who like was always looking for the artifacts, and then there was the guy who like
And
I
he
would
owned
see
the
all
space that you would go to use. So you like
next door.
next door.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sean, I remember, he hosted that show. So he would get all these like corporate auctioneering jobs where he'd go and be the auctioneer, and he'd made a pretty good. I think he made a grip of money from.
I mean,
from that
I think
show.
if you can be the EP,
and that show went on like 10 seasons. It went on a shitload of
if
time.
you're the EP, you get a good bit of money.
Yeah, and then the show went a long time, and then he brought in his friends like Terrell Wright, who's a comedian, was one of the guys who auctioned.
I think
did the
that's
auction, and the security guard Camera was a
I think they get a lot of people like that too. Like you bring an idea to a production company, it doesn't quite work. They're like, no, this isn't great. And then like a couple years later, you'll see a show very similar to your premise because like
he said that was Storage Wars. He said he was the guy who came up with the idea, and they ripped him off. That's what he said.
Dude, I knew the guy who came up with Duck Dynasty. He was with the Duck Dynasty guys doing hunting videos for them and telling them that they should do a reality show.
And then they did it without him.
And told them how they should like pitch it. And then he like leave this the off season, no hunting. So he goes, and then he's like trying to get in touch with them about shooting some more hunting videos. Nobody's answering his phone call. He turns on A&E and there's the fucking Duck Dynasty guys doing the show that he came up with.
I never believe those guys though.
I do because I shot a pilot for him. Like he was a dude, like he was like real high up with like Field and Stream magazine. Like he was involved in the industry, so he like did stuff.
But
so
it also could have been like he was telling them that, and someone else was telling them the same thing. Like
maybe
who the fuck, I never. How many people? Listen, it'd be like this. If you said to me, Ari, you need to do this, this, and this to get a show, and then I got the show because I literally listened to you and got the show. What kind of shit person wouldn't be like, hey, man, just, I took your advice and got the show. Thank you so much. Let me buy you something or get you a job on it. I think you hear so many stories.
Because you know what that is? That is admitting. So it's like when someone accidentally kills someone in like an accident or something, the one thing you can never do is say you're sorry because saying sorry admits guilt. That's why, like, people always talk about how, this person's acting like a celebrity involved in an accident. They'll always be like, they're acting so cold and heartless. And so, that's because their lawyers have told them, if you say you're sorry, if you show anything that looks like you're admitting guilt, you will be, like, required to pay out millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So, like, of course not. If you, like, gave me advice for something and then I got it, I'm not going to be like, hey, Ari, man, I took your advice. And because then
I would try and hook them up.
Then you could take that and be like, look, I created this show. I gave him the thing. And then he admitted it. He said that.
I wouldn't admit it. I'd just be like, you helped me and you gave me some ideas and I want to reward you for that.
Well, I just want to go on record and you ain't never done shit for me. Okay?
I agree.
And we can end the podcast right there. You ain't never done nothing for me.
Well, no, I've done stuff.
Nothing. I owe you nothing.
You owe me your whole goddamn life.
You wouldn't even give me recommendations at the Comedy Store. I had to go through other door guys.
I recommended you.
This conversation is
my recommendation means nothing. I've only recommended I think two different I think I recommended you and Bruce Gray I recommended.
Well, such great company I keep.
You don't like Bruce Gray?
I love Bruce.
Oh. Bruce Gray is a
My
great
girlfriend
guy.
wants me to pick some stuff up on the way home.
Where? Yeah, you
At
keep
the store.
texting during the podcast. It's like,
I'm just looking.
Never had such a rude guest before.
I'm sure you have.
I think you've gone on your phone 4 different. I could count.
Well, I've been looking up things to continue the conversation.
At this point, it's just wow. Who behaves this? It's like,
I mean, I can.
You're
going to
host your own
videos
show.
of you.
Are you going to look up? Are you going to go on your phone to look stuff up during your Fox show?
No, because it'll be basic television, basic cable,
basic local cable.
It'll be network TV.
So you have no problems I could help you with? I mean, I clearly help you with the way you dress.
I dress fine.
You're wearing probably a 30-year-old faded flower polo
I bought this
shirt.
during COVID.
That shirt you bought during COVID?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were wearing one of the ugliest shirts I've ever seen.
I'll have you know.
I don't have any jokes. I'm not roasting you.
A lot of people tell me they really like this shirt.
That is a hideous shirt. And you're wearing a bright yellow Bass Pro Shop
I love
hat.
it.
They pay you?
No.
You
But they
sponsored by
should.
that?
Bass Pro Shops.
Today's episode is sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. Use coupon code
Or
therapy.
Cabela's, depending on what part of the country you live in.
That's what it's called in some parts of the country?
Cabela's.
Never
yeah.
heard of that. What part of the country is Cabela's?
Just different places.
Yeah, where? Name one county that calls Bass Pro Shop Cabela's.
Outside of Seattle. It's a
Interesting.
Cabela's. Yeah, in
And
Tacoma,
it's the
Washington.
same company?
Yep.
Interesting. That's lovely. Anything else we should talk about?
I think I'm good, man. I mean, I just am at a very good place. Now, if something happens with this show, I might need to come back on in like 2 weeks and we can really work some stuff out.
Yeah, what if you don't get the show, you mean?
God, yeah.
It could happen. Huh?
I can't imagine any.
I feel like you're jumping the gun, being excited about it.
I'll show you some stuff off air or whatever you want to call it.
Did I tell you a story of when I thought I got $10,000 but didn't?
No.
Okay, so have you heard of the comedian named Ben Glebe?
Oh yeah, I know Ben Glebe.
Okay.
You have told me this story.
I got it. Yeah,
you
yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
You went on a game show.
Won the game show.
And then you posted about it on Twitter.
I didn't post about it. I just told his manager. I knew Ben Glebe's manager.
Oh,
and I told Ben Glebe's manager that I won the game show, and I wasn't supposed to tell anyone because I had signed like a confidentiality agreement. And that manager went on set and was like, "Oh wow, my client hosts the show, and my friend Ari won the show."
Well, wait, weren't you also his client? Isn't that
no,
what the
I wasn't
problem
his client.
was?
I helped him with his podcast.
I thought there was an issue with like.
I was never his client, no. So it wasn't that. I would be.
Who?
Yeah, that was Ben
You
Glebe's
have to
manager.
beat that out now too.
No, I'm a good guy. But yeah.
Well, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. I feel like it's missing something.
I don't know what I mean. There was murder, mystery, intrigue. It was
There was definitely a lot of great moments to this podcast, but I just feel like there's something missing. Do you have a story of your biggest failure? Everything's going great for you now. What's like you mentioned that someone was pitching a show for you and didn't go through, but do you have like an ultimate moment in your comedy where you're like, well, fuck
no, but
me.
you know what? There is a thing that happens to me, and that is whenever I get opportunities for success, I do fall into depression.
When you get rejected from an opportunity?
No. When I get the opportunity before a rejection, just as soon as like when I got my first manager in LA, when I started pitching shows to networks and stuff, things like that. When I got this phone call about this thing, that I always start getting depressed because so I had to really start working on like manifestations where I'm just like, I got this. I'm really grateful that I have this. I deserve good things, blah, blah, blah. Because as soon as opportunity would hit, I would just start thinking about not getting it.
Right.
And that would make me depressed.
You thought
and
about the
sad.
failure before the failure even happened.
Before I even had a chance to fail, I was already in my mind failing.
Got it.
Because to me, this is almost like a lottery, but it's not. There is a lot, like dependent upon you, your likability, your talent, your willingness to work and do
who
things.
you know, who you meet, who you're friends with. There's how many followers you have. There's so many things.
But in my mind, I'm always kind of like, I am just one of thousands of other people trying to do this, tens of thousands of people trying to do this. Mm-hmm. So why would they choose me? Like it sucks that I'm even getting called because it's like getting you almost to the edge and then pulling you back before you're able to take off.
Yeah.
And I would like get in my head about that a lot. And even this time I still kind of did it, but I like really pushed forward with the whole I got this kind of mentality.
See, I have the mentality. This is my mentality. I don't think this is the right mentality either. But my mentality is I just want the opportunity to go fail. Like I would love to audition for things. And I always go into, whenever I get a big audition or a pitch or whatever, in my head, I'm like, I have the same thing where I'm like, there's so many people, I'm not getting this.
Right.
But hey, it's cool that I'm going to go give it my best shot. And it's cool that I'll get a fail at this. And if I get it, awesome. I won the lottery. Mm-hmm. But if I don't, cool. Another lottery ticket.
I've been lucky to fail. And I think that has built me up to a point now where, like, I shot a pilot for the Outdoor Channel, and that was not
when
great.
Was that? I didn't hear about that.
Oh man, this is probably like my first year or my second year in LA.
Okay, a long time.
Like
ago.
I got a chance for that like real quick, and I go back and I watch the video, and I'm like, yeah, I could see where I was like, I wasn't comfortable on stage or whatever in front of the camera, and then I got like a podcast on like a veteran network. And then I got put on that TV show Punchline, where it was kind of like at midnight. Mm-hmm. And so just all these little things like started happening to where I wasn't getting the big role, but I was just getting more and more comfortable.
Yeah.
So that now when this opportunity is here,
You're more prepared.
now I'm just going to go in there like this is mine.
Right.
There's nothing to be worried about anymore
Yeah.
because I have had those
Yeah,
opportunities.
you have the chops.
But in the past, I just never experienced any opportunities like this. So the opportunities kind of scared me and just made me constantly think about fail. I don't like to fail.
Sure.
Some people like to
I
do
like
it
to
and
fail.
learn and improve, but
I like to not fail, but I like to, fail.
you like the opportunity?
I like the chance to fail.
Yeah.
See, when I signed with my manager, he's like, well, what are your goals? I was like, this is going to sound dumb, but I want to get rejected by a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to be in the room to get rejected because that's not what I'm getting now.
I think Chappelle shot like 19 pilots
Yeah.
before anything that he did got picked up. I just don't know that I have that much industry behind me. So
Yeah.
I got the one. Like I got to make it work.
I think
I
you
just
will.
want, I just want like 5 seasons. That's all I want.
Dude, I'd be happy with one season. Well, I
Could you
hope
imagine?
that your Fox show happens. I hope you have $250,000 and you don't have to quit comedy and you could maybe even send your daughter to college. Who
Even if
knows?
I just get the pilot, I'll be happy. But I think that it's gonna go on, and I think I'm gonna get one season out of it. I'm really looking forward to it.
I can't wait. I can't wait to update the crowd, the audience on your journey through local Fox News.
It'll be fun. 18 regions. Los Angeles, New York, Atlanta, and then 15 other ones.
And if you're not one of those regions, YouTube, baby.
Yeah, YouTube.
YouTube's where it's
Is
at.
that the ending that you were looking for?
Thanks for doing the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I was really just doing research when we were talking.
Even though Mitch is a rude piece of shit, follow him at Mitch Burrow.
On everything.
On everything. He's a good friend of mine. I didn't even talk to you about how, I don't know if I talked about on the last podcast, but how we met.
When you were cutting an onion? I think we talked about that.
We did, yeah.
When you were slicing an onion at the
Funny or Die.
Funny or Die. Does that even exist anymore?
Funny or Die, I think if it does, it's a lot smaller. But
Yeah.
this was, how many years ago was that? 5 years ago?
I mean, probably 4,
4 years ago.
maybe 5.
They were doing this. Was it an open mic?
Yes.
They were doing an open mic at the Funny or Die offices.
They were, what is it called when someone in the government goes in and they just talk to not let the other side get a chance to vote on something? There's a term for it.
Okay, I don't know. But they weren't doing that.
Yeah, they were. So
what do you mean? What did they not want people to vote
the
on?
Democrats were doing that in regards to something.
Okay.
God, I'm gonna go crazy if I don't.
Okay,
look
anyway.
it up.
A filibuster.
Filibuster. Thank
Yeah.
you. So the Democrats were filibustering.
I can't
and
believe I
then-
knew that.
And then Funny or
I'm
Die
so smart, though.
was doing a
Live stream.
a live stream open mic. So and everyone was just coming in and signing up and doing like however much time they wanted.
Right.
And it was going on and it was like a 24-hour filibuster.
It was a long filibuster.
So comics
and
were
this was
just-
right in the beginning of it, though.
And then people were like, I had a bunch of people sending me a message being like, hey, you should go to the Funny or Die. They're letting anybody get up on the live stream.
But so my memory of it was, I don't even remember the filibuster part. I think that might have been a different one.
No, I'm telling you, that's what it was.
So there was a filibuster. They started this open mic. And Funny or Die was, as a comedian, it was like, oh, it'd be great to be on Funny or Die. Like, what a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like, they were doing some shows there. I think there was a couple comics working there, John McKay, Becky Robinson. There was a few cool people at Funny or Die. But anyway, so I go to this open mic, and I'm watching the 5 comedians ahead of me on the list because you sign up on a list. And I think there was like either 3,500 or 10. There was a lot of people. It was being live streamed on their Facebook page.
And everyone was bombing because you're in the room.
There's no audience in the
You're
room.
performing it just in
It's a
front of
white
all the
wall.
other comics waiting for
Not
you.
even, though. There
Right,
was
they're
like-
not watching.
Yeah, you're performing for like a white wall, and you're being live streamed. And I'm watching these 4 comics, and they're doing their best shit. These are comics I knew, and they were okay comics, and they were doing their best material. And the comments on the live stream were like, this guy fucking sucks. He's
Yeah.
the worst. Not funny. Blah, blah, just ripping them to shreds. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, I'm not going to go up there and do my material. Like, no way.
So
There's no positive.
You found an onion.
So I went into the kitchen. I got an onion and a knife, and I went up for my set. And the whole set, I just started chopping an onion. Didn't say anything, or maybe I talked about how like I wanted Will Ferrell and Adam McKay to hire me, or like I just did like a weird.
Yeah. It was very
Impromptu
very
fun.
Andy Kaufman-esque.
Also bombed, just so everyone knows. Like,
I thought it was great.
Yeah. People in the room liked it, but on the internet was like just as bad as if I had done my material. It was like,
I was
this
just
guy
like, where did
fucking
this
sucks, not funny, blah blah blah.
In my mind, I was just like, where does this guy find an onion?
I rated the Funny or Die kitchen, and then I remember thinking like, I wonder if I got like Becky or John in trouble. I think I texted them, making sure I didn't get them in trouble for cutting an onion.
I don't even know who that was.
Or the comics I worked at. That were putting it on.
I had no idea. But
that's
after
how we
that,
met.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, I like this guy.
Yeah, but you must have thought like, this guy is
Nah,
fucking
because
weirdo.
I knew he was like handling the situation for what it was. I went up on a show where they were doing it for a Democratic filibuster, and I talked about being a Republican and loving guns.
Yeah, that
And the
too.
filibuster was for gun control, I think.
And so did that do good or no?
It was fine.
Okay, good.
But I was just like, I'm gonna do the stuff that they wouldn't want me to do. And then you went up and did an onion. You just cut up an onion. We
Good
were definitely
times.
like not trying to like show them our Funny or Die stuff.
Who would have thought that company went under?
I know, weird, huh?
Who would have thought? Anyways, okay. Now I feel like we shared a lot.
Okay, that was
It was
good.
a good podcast, right?
Thanks for having me.
It was a good podcast, right?
Yeah, it was
You
fun.
want to redo it?
No, I gotta go. My girlfriend's waiting on me.
What?
Yeah, she wants me to pick up some cough drops.
Thought we're gonna hang a TV.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot I gotta do that.
We don't,
This is
it's
the
all good if
last
we don't have to.
manual labor I will do. I'm about to be on network.
Yeah, but you'll always
television.
be my guy.
Not after this, man.
Yeah, you'll always be my
I'm
guy.
not gonna hang up your TVs after I'm on network television.
Yeah, you won't do it for a living, but you'll do it like for me.
No.
Your friends.
I'll pay somebody to do it for you.
No.
Yeah,
I want you.
dude.
No one does it like you do it.
Well, that's too bad.
Remember we do this stuff together. Before Fox gave you a show, we had a show.
And it didn't happen. It didn't work out.
I thought it did pretty good.
I tried to
Our show
get
did
you
good.
to let me put it on my YouTube, and you're like, you should just share mine.
No, I said
Mine
you could
would've
do
got-
that.
How many followers do you have on?
First off,
how many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
Is that the memory you have? I never said just share mine. I said here's the file. I said it'd be better if we shared one link, but I didn't
That's
say
what you
like
said.
don't post it on your
That's
thing.
what you said. You made it very clear that you thought it would be in my best interest.
I thought it would be better. The video's best interest. I didn't, but I never once said like
How many
don't post
subscribers
it on
do you
yours.
have on YouTube?
More than you.
How many?
I'll find out right now.
Yeah, how many?
Okay.
I just
We did this. By the way, we had this follower battle once
Well, we
before.
need
were
to
like,
do it
who has
again.
more followers? And
Yeah,
I,
let's do
and
it
I had
one more time.
Okay. YouTube, I have 2,040 subscribers.
2,040
Yeah.
on YouTube. I have 2,680,
Okay, just so you know, at this time you did not have 2,680.
but I do now.
How'd you get so many now?
I have some viral videos. I have a video right now that's at 100,000 views.
Whoa, what
and
video?
another video that's at like 600,000.
What video?
Just some stand-up clips.
Wow. Well, at this time you didn't.
Well, I do now. See, you should have had faith in me. Like
Well, you should have faith in
like
me.
the vice president of Fox Television Networks. He has faith
I
in me.
never told you. I wanted to be clear though. I never once in my mind was like,
If you would have let me share those
I
clips,
never didn't let you.
But you made it clear that you didn't want me to.
no, I didn't. I didn't say I didn't want you to. I just thought for the better, it
Because
makes
no
more
one's
sense.
going to my channel looking at my playlist. Because that's
You
what I
could
did.
still
I put
upload
the
it to your
playlist there.
YouTube.
And maybe I will.
Maybe you will.
And then maybe someone will reach out to us to do a how-to.
We never pitched
TV
it.
show.
We should pitch that.
We can think about it. Let me see what's going on with my career right now. I don't know if I want.
Once the show doesn't book you as the host.
No, it will. Let
But
me
once
get a
they
couple
don't,
seasons of
let's-
this, and then we'll.
Okay, but once.
I need this show so I can carry somebody else on another show. You know. So
I never pitched that show with my manager. Our show. That was a good one.
I don't know why you didn't believe in me.
I just forgot about it.
Yep. Let's hang this TV. I
Okay.
got shit to do.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for having me on.
Well, you're trying to end it so soon. I could go another hour.
So soon. We've been doing this for 2 hours.
Have we gone 2 hours?
I got here at A little after 9. It's almost 11 o'clock. So.
Oh man, we
almost
should
2
go Rogan on this shit and do 3.
I gotta go.
You're listening to Unlicensed Therapy with Ari Mannis.
Are you still listening? I hope so. That means you're a true fan. You're one of the few that has made it. I think YouTube says on average that my podcast gets listened to for 22 minutes an episode, something like that. Most people stop listening after 22 minutes. And this is an hour and a half later, maybe even more, I forget. And you're still listening. You like me. Admit it. You like me. So, if you like me that much, just so you know, you can buy an Unlicensed Therapy t-shirt on arimannis.com. Thank you for listening this long, and we'll see you guys next week.